Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are going to take a look at another amazing brand new Artic Figures release, and this is another Skull Island release because we've got ourselves the Sylvaceratops. Now this is actually a species of ceratopsian, kind of in King Kong lore, and it's a very small species of ceratopsian found on Skull Island. It actually did not make an appearance in the film of, the 2005 Peter Jackson King Kong film, but it is a species of ceratopsian that does exist on Skull Island. Again, a very small species of ceratopsian called Sylvaceratops, and it looks great. Like, it literally looks like he pulled the figure straight out of the artwork that I've seen for this. It is so picture perfect, it is actually quite ridiculous. But again, it looks absolutely awesome here, so let's go ahead, jump straight to a closer look at it right now. So as you can see, mine here is unpainted. Now, you can normally buy the Artic Figures products painted or unpainted. I know he hasn't painted one up quite yet, so I don't think that he has given the opportunity to kind of pre-order a, already painted version, but we have the unpainted version here to look at, and of course I will be painting mine up here in the review, and of course you can also purchase it, again, unpainted, so you can do the same. But you can see as far as the head sculpt goes, it looks incredible. We've got a really nicely sculpted beak here on our ceratopsian. You can also see a horn on the snout. The nostrils are sculpted very nicely. And I love all of the imperfections there on the beak. You can see it doesn't look like just a really clean, crisp looking beak. Like, it looks weathered. It looks like this animal has been alive for some time, and oh, we're losing focus there. And it looks more realistic, more lifelike is basically what I'm getting at. Now, of course, the jaw is articulated because it is a figure from Artic Figures. You always get lots of articulation, hence the name Artic Figures, on your models. And you can see the jaw articulates very nicely. On the inside of the mouth, we can see the tongue sculpted out in there. We can also see teeth sculpted out in there as well. And if we take a look here at the inside of the mouth on the upper side, pretty much the same thing going on. Nice looking detail and everything on the inside of the mouth of our Sylvaceratops. And the jaw works great, as it always does. Once you get nice and close, I don't know how good you'll be able to notice it on camera, but the skin texture looks really good. We've got the eyes sculpted out. The entire eye socket looks great as far as the detailing goes. As you lead up here, you can see the ears sculpted out back there as well. And then leading up into this very, very interesting kind of trademark frill for our Sylvaceratops. You can see the skin texture looks really good. Everything looks great as you move up. Very vibrant, very impressive looking detailing. And again, as accurate as it gets when it comes to this ceratopsian. It literally looks exactly as it does in the artwork that I've seen for it so far. You kind of have like scoots that move up the center and up along the edges of the frill of the ceratopsian. Just a really cool, really unique look, as all of the Skull Island creatures always have. As you lead back into the neck, you can see the skin texture looks great. You can kind of see like some tensing and musculature and stuff in the back of the neck here. As you lead down toward the throat, you can see some nice skin wrinkles and creasing and everything down here in the throat of the ceratopsian. It looks really, really good. As you move back, you do have areas of articulation, of course, as you've got one here in the back of the head, one in the center of the neck, and one at the back of the neck, which allows you to articulate your ceratopsian very nicely and give you pretty much any and every pose you would like to have for your Sylvaceratops. You can also see there's some nice looking detail to the back of the frill. I think I need to clean it up a little bit, of course, but we'll get there when we get there very soon. As you move along the back of the animal, you can see the spinal column looks really nice and elaborated here, moving along the back of the ceratopsian. As you move down here into the side, you can see again more really nice looking skin texture. It looks really, really good. Really high quality as you move down. You've got the elbow sculpted out back there. And then as you move down into the foot, you can see that we have kind of like a hoof-like sort of a look, like a very interesting take for the foot of this ceratopsian. You can also see we've got some very nice looking detailing, not only in the toes, but also in the toenails. They look super impressive. And you have more articulation moving down, as you've got a spot right here, and then you've got a spot in the elbow, and then down here in the wrist as well. So even more articulation, and of course these areas can swivel on top of everything. As you lead back here into the stomach region, you have a nice spot of articulation in the midsection as well, which can go up, down, left, and right. You can kind of make out the rib cage in there. And then as you move along the back, you see the spinal column again. You've got the hip right there for the Sylvaceratops. That as well, again, articulates forward and back very nicely. As you move down, you have some nice muscle definition in the thigh, Leading down, you've got an area of articulation in the knee, and then another spot down here in the ankle. So again, furthering the possibilities as far as the countless display options, or of course, if you want to go the route of stop motion, you can. Leading down into the foot sculpt, you can see we've got 3 toes here on the rear foot, and you've also got, again, really nicely sculpted toes, really nicely sculpted detail in the nails. And then as you lead out into the tail, you have numerous joints as you lead out, as well as some more incredible looking skin detail, skin texture. You've got one spot here, 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 and here to articulate the tail very nicely, and again, create any pose that you would possibly want for your ceratopsian. Just countless possibilities as far as the way you can articulate it and display it. And then here on the underside, again, more really nice looking texturing, quite a bit of a different appearance to the way that the skin texture looks here, moving along the underside of the ceratopsian. And you can see even the undersides of the feet are really nicely sculpted, really nicely detailed. And we do have the Artic Figures logo here on the underside of that foot. You're not going to really see any difference, of course, over here, because not only is it an articulated figure, so it's up to you to kind of display it and pose it how you want, it's also unpainted, so you're really not going to see anything different over here going on compared to what we had just seen on the initial side. So, at this point, I think the only thing left to do would be to get some paint work on this, so let's do that, and we'll check it out from there. So here is my finished Sylvaceratops, and I think it looks pretty cool. Again, the paint scheme that I gave it was based off of the artwork that I've seen of it. I kind of took the artwork that I had seen along with the artwork that was created for the release for the Artic Figures card and kind of combine them into what we see here. And I'm pretty happy with the final product as far as, what it looks like in the art that I've seen. I feel like I kind of achieved it fairly nicely for the most part, and it definitely looks really neat now with the actual paintwork on it. You can really see just how beautiful and how detailed the sculpt is. Like, Artic Figures absolutely nailed it. And after actually, taking a look at all of that artwork and stuff and getting a good look at what the animal looks like, I really can say, again, as far as the accuracy department goes, this is absolutely phenomenal, and it's just so impressive to see something like this. It's something that I've never seen created before, so if you are a fan of the Skull Island models, this has got to be a must-have, because it's just something that I've never seen created by anybody, period. In my time as a dinosaur model collector, I have never seen this animal created, this ceratopsian created by anyone. And the paint scheme, again, like I said, the actual Artic Figures card that he is releasing with this actually has the color variant of this as a little bit lighter. And now I did notice in this image here, you can see there are 2 different versions. There's kind of like the brownish version and then a lighter toned version. And I think the lighter toned version is obviously the one that's on the Artic Figures card. But I kind of liked this coloration a little bit more. I'm not really sure why. I kind of like the brownish version. So I chose to go the route of the brownish version. But of course you could, get 2 technically and then create both versions. But as I said, it is an absolutely incredible sculpt, and hopefully my paintwork has done the model justice and really brought it to life in the best and most realistic way possible. I'm absolutely happy with it, and I really can't wait to now display it with my amazing V-Rex from Artic Figures as well. Now, as far as the size goes, the model as a whole isn't super huge. It's fairly small. But for a length, you are looking at about the 5-inch, maybe approaching 5.25-inch range, but not quite there, or a little over 13 centimeters, heading toward 13.5. And then for a height to the top of the frill, just shy of about 2.75 inches, or also just shy of about 7 centimeters, or pretty darn close to that point. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Artic Figures Sylvaceratops, and you can see how cool they look together for one thing, but also, again, get a pretty good idea of the size and the fact that the Sylvaceratops is definitely a bit on the smaller side. But for another comparison, it's Mattel Dilophosaurus and Velociraptor time, as we've got these 2 in here for another comparison to, again, further show you that the Ceratopsian, like I said, is a bit on the smaller side, but definitely really impressive as far as a detailing standpoint goes and articulation standpoint goes for something so small. But for another comparison, we've got a few more randoms here with the Safari LTD, Eutyrannus, the Schleich Diabloceratops, and Collect Day Deluxe Dimetrodon, because I don't have any other Sylvaceratops models. As I already mentioned, I've never even seen one, but I definitely don't have any more in my collection, so kind of limited as far as what we can compare with it that makes sense. So I figure the randoms would probably be the best way to go. And if we take these two out and just have the two ceratopsians, that should help to give you an idea of a size next to another ceratopsian, again with the Diabloceratops. But I would say the most important comparison would be a size next to the Artic Figures V-Rex, because technically this Sylvaceratops would be at least one form of prey for the V-Rex, so this should help to give you a pretty good idea of the size difference between the two, and obviously the fact that this V-Rex could definitely make a nice, easy meal out of that Sylvaceratops, assuming it could actually catch it. But again, it's super cool of Artic Figures to have created this and given us two different animals, both from, again, Skull Island, both from the King Kong lore, and bring them to life so beautifully here with incredible articulation and incredible sculpts. So this brand new Artic Figures Skull Island Sylvaceratops is absolutely awesome, as everything that Artic Figures produces always is. He really did take such a very obscure creature and just absolutely knocked it out of the park in the best way possible. Like, not only does the sculpt look incredibly accurate to what the artwork shows us, but it also looks like almost a direct clone, I would say, from the artwork that we have seen of it. Like, absolutely incredible accuracy on the part of Artic Figures, but on top of just, the general appearance of it, the fine detail is phenomenal as well. It really is super, super highly detailed. Like, honestly, there's no possible way, I would imagine, to get any more detail into this, and it looks incredibly lifelike and realistic because of how nice the detail is, and it's also super easy to paint because the detail is so good. It practically paints itself, but you can, of course, purchase this unpainted currently. I think he's going to, well, technically pre-order it unpainted currently. I think he's going to have a painted version at some point. I'm not positive on that, so don't hold me to that, but the, again, paintwork here was done by me. It's up to you how you paint yours. If you want to go the route of the brownish version like I did, if you'd like to go the route of the lighter toned version like you see in the artwork for Artic Figures, or if you just want to create an entirely new paint scheme, that's really your call. But again, on top of the incredible sculpt, you also have fantastic articulation, as you always have when it comes to an Artic Figures release. You have articulation everywhere on this figure, making pretty much any pose or any diorama you would like to create possible, which is always a great, great thing, and definitely one of the most redeeming factors of the Artic Figures brand. So if you are interested in this, I will include a link in the description to where you can pre-order it right now on the Artic Figures website. He has moved kind of away from the Etsy store, now is going to be primarily running through articfigures.com, so that's where you can head on over to, again, pre-order this beautiful Sylvaceratops, or you can of course check the description because I will have a link right there for you to click to take you straight to their website. But again, absolutely amazing work as always from Artic Figures. Make sure you go pick up this beautiful Sylvaceratops, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.